Hey guys, video number 6, and today we're talking about fat and fat intakes and why is so important for us and what is very dangerous for us. So the first thing we have to understand is the cholesterol, and we talk about two types of cholesterol. One is the HDL, that's a good cholesterol that we look for, and that's basically the cholesterol that managed to reduce the LDL, that's bad cholesterol. They're gonna basically clog our arteries. So just remember that of course there is a moderation in everything that we eat. So even if this is of course a suggestion of how much fat intake you should have throughout the day, there is like a good fats and bad fats, and there are some that they are in the middle. So starting off, just to have a little bit of categories, you keep them nice and simple. We have two types of fat, saturated and unsaturated. And the saturated fat are the fat that we can find in the cheese, in pork, beef, eggs, coconut oils, palm oils and butter. And then of course moderation on those. And the unsaturated, we had to divide them in three parts. Now, the important things that really we have to remember is the trans fats. The trans fat, that you can really understand it already from the word itself, is something that's not really natural. Basically what these are these oils. They are liquid, and they are basically added with hydrogen and they become solid. So margarine is basically a fat that's being created artificially. So what happens is those fats are normally much cheaper, and they help to maintain food for longer term. So normally in used in fast food and in frozen things, and normally also in baked cookies and anything that needs to have other flavor and it need to last a very long term. So if you find something that's it's had very long life span, is probably rich into this fat, and we try to avoid it as much as possible. Now the other two are a little bit different. Now let's say the monounsaturated is the fat that we know has a good healthy fat, and the fat that we need in our life, of course in moderation. And basically olive oil, nuts and seeds, avocados, and you find in other type of foods, but let's say that if you're looking for only to have monounsaturated fat, that's the four main categories that you can find them. Now the next step is polyunsaturated. Is the omega-3 and omega-6 are the main ones, and that's very important. They are good and bad. The most important part of this is to have a good ratio between them. You find the omega-6 in beef and vegetable oils, and they're being considered to be in fat. They tends to have inflammatory effects on our body, especially if they're not related to a good ratio with the omega-3. That they are fat that created that we can find in seeds and tuna, salmon and walnuts. So basically the important part is to understand that the omega-3 has the effect to anti-inflammatory, and the omega-6 are in creating inflammation in our body. So if the ratio is extremely different and high, it might create a little bit of problem. So the idea is to have a ratio of 4:1, so 4 omega-3 to 1 omega-6. Now everything is a little bit more difficult to understand. This is really to keep it very simple for us to have a very healthy lifestyle without getting too crazy into the difficult part of understanding fats intakes. So just quickly to re-understand what we have to do. Saturated fat in moderation, of course, is a fat that we can find in a lot of the food that we like the most, so we try not to have it too much of them. Omega-3, balance between omega-3 and omega-6, so not to go too crazy with them. Good fats, so we're going to monounsaturated, olive oil, nuts and seeds, avocados, and that's probably the fat that you want to use to fill up the gap of your daily fat intakes. And of course, we try to avoid as much as we can all the trans fats. So everything that's a fast food, deep fried or baked for a big sort of volume normally have a very long life, so it's not something very good for us.